What's going on, everyone? My name's Tenebrous Infinite, and today we're going to talk about a fun topic. One that might never happen, but is something that I think would be some of the best updates this game could ever see. A whole new map to explore as a sub-level to the current map, offering explanations on some of Generation Zero's biggest secrets, and potentially even concluding the Soviet plotline. If the map updates we've seen over the years have been a breath of new life, this would be the equivalent of a phoenix rising from the ashes for this game. Now, what the heck do I mean by sub-level map? And this is something that was actually introduced to us back in the Landfall update. But it's the idea of there being military installations underground all connected together by some sort of railway. As of now, all we know is that Bolshevik managed to escape into these underground tunnels after having a scrap with Tatiana. And if you're a new player and have no idea what I'm talking about, please check out my video on the Matryoshka reports. I'll leave it linked at the end of this video. But Soviets aside, there is so much more we could learn about Generation Zero from an underground area. It could serve as an explanation to where larger civilian populations, like Ostrovik, went to on Cataclysm Day. It could also house lore expansions to the Reaper, and maybe even Phoenix as a whole. So firstly, let's talk about the environment I have in mind. It would be cool to see just, large cavernous tunnels leading to smaller, more claustrophobic environments. Kinda like Muscadin Port's tunnels, but filled with, proper medical tents and equipment to help anyone injured during the machine invasion. Now, there's a lot of ways that this could go, but I always like Generation Zero when it's a little bit more of a darker story, so I think it'd be awesome to see these areas further ravaged by machines. Like, the people tried to escape, but were followed in. Or, even better, met crazier machines inside. It would make these tunnels great loot spots, having lots of dead bodies to loot through. The environmental storytelling would be dismal, on top of the benefit of opening up new lootables for us to search for, like high-end military crates that have 5 and maybe even 6 crown weapon drops. The environmental storytelling of Generation Zero can be some of the best, so I think the dark and dismal atmosphere would be a great flex of those talents from GZ. Beyond that though, I think adding something big, something that gives us a brand new area to explore, would be the best benefit of this all. We do have islands and stuff like that to look forward to that will bring us to new locations and places to see, but giving us a huge switch up in environment from the vast open world of Ostertorn to the cramped and claustrophobic tunnels of the military tunnels beneath would be a great source of providing some fresh new variety for players to explore. Then comes the further lore opportunities. One of the big ones being the Reaper, and maybe learning how he gets around Ostertorn in a more grounded way than him just kinda popping into existence. Alongside possibly reaching Bolshevik and getting the expansion to the Soviet plotline we really deserve in this game. Which, that could just be a huge thing for us to dive into. Even having some of the first human enemies in the game, with Bolshevik's exoskeleton soldiers. And heck, if the team wants to create an ending for the game, finding some huge Phoenix facility where the homie Von Ulmer is camping out at would be pretty cool too. But we don't usually speak about Generation Zero's end here, as that should still be a long while off from where we're at. Then comes the chance of offering us some unique new loot to obtain. Some new items that would really help us out in the variety of combat that we have in the game. One big one being Vision Module Goggles, a version of something the community has always wanted and something I think would be a sick addition. It could come in 3 variants, one for low light, one for IR, and one for X-ray, just like the Vision mods that we have in the game. Taking these Vision mods and making them an equipable item that we could use for general moment-to-moment gameplay without the use of a scope would be huge for not only the open world, but also exploring these new underground tunnels. And then, new medical items. We haven't seen very much in terms of new items to use in healing ourselves outside of the experimental medkits. So having some new items to play around with that increase factors like our bullet defense, fire defense, add slow passive regen, stamina, aim sway, jump height, or even carry weight would be great in expanding the sandbox elements of Generation Zero, and would give us awesome new opportunities for tactics and combinations. Offering us new equipment and new medical items on top of some other fun ideas I'll be sharing with you folks over the next couple weeks, this would all be a great expansion to the base game. Now, come some technical asides. I'm sure some of you are thinking it or have already posted a comment about it, but adding a whole new map to the already existing map would probably be pretty tough on the engine and consoles and everything, and I totally agree. So this is where I think the off-map expansion could come into play. Kinda like how you change reserves in Hunter Call of the Wild and go to a completely different map. You could access this underground area via bunkers and various locations across the map. This would add maybe a door to each bunker that would serve as a transition point to the new map, lowering any chances of it interfering with the main map we already have. We saw with the Phoenix bases that adding too much to the mainland can cause issues, which is why I'm going to be spitting out ideas on how we can move away from that, so Generation Zero can be added to even more without it affecting the entire game we play in the process. Let me know what you dudes think of that idea in the comments below, because personally, I think it's a really good one that would solve a ton of issues we face in the game's ongoing updates. So, from new locations to new gear to expanding the Soviet plotline and maybe even concluding it, there's still a bit more that could be done to ensure this would be a well-rounded addition to the game, and that is introducing new classes of Soviet and Phoenix machines. CQC-based ones built for the underground environments we'll be fighting in. It's something I wish we could have seen more along the years here in Generation Zero. If we had tons of enemy variety, not just in machines, but classes too, it would create such a rich combat experience. And I'd love to see the team pull back in that direction. The underground could add chances for pure melee-built machines, and then the exoskeleton soldiers, and it would be bonkers, man. A whole new fresh experience in Generation Zero in a huge way. And if this was done as updates, maybe adding new underground locations for us to discover and unravel the plot of Bolshevik in the process, it would be one of the best moves this game's made in terms of offering us really solid content with each update since its launch, basically. This one might be a long shot because something so big in terms of content would normally be put aside as DLC for a game, but I think as free updates, this would be the thing to really spark some life back into the community and give us a ton of positive vibes around this game. So let me know, what do you think of this idea? It's a big one, I know, but I tried to trim my ideas down in scale to get a bit of a more clear video out here. Either way, I want to know all of your thoughts and feels in the comments down below. But, my dudes, thank you for watching. I got a few more Generation Zero videos planned for this week, so stay tuned. But for now, I will catch you all in the next one. Until then, peace.